Hello, how are you doing? Did you know that this is one of the most unique buildings in the whole world? That's because it gives back to the environment more than it takes. I work for the Stanley Center for Peace and Security, and when we were planning this building, we asked kids like you what we could do to make this building more sustainable. Here's some of the things they said.
I'll put grass on the floor because it will be good for the environment, plus you don't have to build a floor. I would make it like a garden with like fruits and vegetables.
Very cool, I like that idea.
Weren't those some great ideas? What ideas do you have to build a building that gives back more than it takes? Pause the video and share your ideas. Before I tell you what ideas we did use, I asked our CEO, Keith, why this project is so important to the Stanley Center.
The Stanley Center is a place where smart people come together to tackle some of the biggest threats to peace and security in the world. Climate change, the threat of nuclear weapons, the threat of mass atrocities and genocide. These are all things that affect everyone on the planet, and there's no one organization, no one country that can fix these things. It's going to take cooperation. It's going to take collaboration. And we felt that it was time for us to move into some new space that would really facilitate the way we want to work today, and space that would reinforce the kind of culture that we're trying to build at the Stanley Center. I hadn't heard of the Living Building Challenge before this, but it became apparent that this was really the thing that aligned most closely with our values.
The Living Building Challenge is a set of rules that help us build a building that's good for the planet and for the people who work here. It's a checklist of sorts that we can use for building sustainable buildings. It's the toughest rules out there today for sustainable building design. The goal of the Living Building Challenge is to make the buildings not only less bad, but better for the environment and for the people who use them. My friend Erin, who is a part of the organization who created the Living Building Challenge, can tell you more.
One thing that's really unique about the Living Building Challenge is how it asks the project team to really reflect on the place where the project is located. You know, what is the culture here, and how might we actually positively support that culture to be celebrated?
The work that the Stanley Center is doing, realizing that history and that sense of place is so important. That connects you to it and it gives you a sense of pride.
We really want to honor the fact that, we are not the original inhabitants of this land. And so that really put us on a path to trying to develop authentic, meaningful relationships with local indigenous people.
The Muscatine people first moved our way down and across the Great Lakes region over 1,000 years ago. We've always been a tribe that lived in wooded areas near rivers. The Musquaquis are farmers, and we've always farmed corn, beans, and squash. So we would have been living certainly all along the Mississippi. There were 2 villages actually on either side of what would today be Muscatine, both within 10 miles. When Illinois settlers began to pour in and take over, some of the Musquaquis made agreements with some of the settlers. American history characterizes this as the Musquaquis ceded this piece of land, but what these treaties are, they're gunpoint treaties, with the threatened extermination of your people by a huge military force if you don't sign.
Colonialism has real impact on real people, and we want to acknowledge our role in that. And I think being very clear about the history of this piece of land is really the first step toward us acknowledging our role in sort of the trauma that's played out across this country over decades and centuries.
We are actually creating a sculpture for our entryway. The Stanley Center is envisioning utilizing the tree as a way of establishing and growing connections within the community.
The Tree of Accountability, it's going to give the Musquaquie people a voice at the Stanley Center and also enable the Musquaquie Nation to tell the public what they need in terms of allyship and support. The leaves will provide a way for the public and the Native community to interact with one another, interact with this work of art. A visitor might even get ideas about what they themselves can do.
Today, we still have 7 of our clans, and I would say the Meskwaki tribe is extremely healthy. Talking to Meskwaki people themselves, and also being willing to share the history of Iowa without having to censor or cover up the truth of the past. All of that is designed to be not only strengthening to our community, but to heal our community from traumas in the past.
This location is also right next door to the Alexander Clark House.
Alexander Clark had sent his daughter, Susan, to the public school, which was all white at that time. And of course, they said, nope, we don't want anyone black attending the school. So he filed a lawsuit. It went up to the Iowa Supreme Court, and he won that case in 1868. That affected, desegregation in schools, statewide.
You may never have thought about how exploring history has anything to do with sustainability, but honoring our history is a great way to bring people together, which makes the world a better place. For example, I had the opportunity to visit the Meskwaki Nation in Tama, Iowa. It was a great opportunity to not only learn about the people native to this land, but also about their vibrant present-day community. Have you ever thought about the people who are native to where you live? Pause the video and share some stories. I asked my friends about other ways our building could help people, and this is what they said.
I would give the people free food.
I would also have a place where I can grow vegetables, and we could give it out to the homeless people.
We are actually trying to create something that will be a net benefit for the community and the neighborhood. There's a courtyard where we will be able to grow things that will then be donated to our neighbors, the Muscatine Center for Social Action, MCSA, which is a local organization devoted to people who are suffering from homelessness.
I think Stanley Center fits the bill to be that perfect neighbor for us. We know that they need to reduce their water usage, so they're going to be coming over to our building and replacing our shower heads and toilets and faucets, so together we can have a lower footprint.
The water system that we're installing is one that will capture almost all of the rainwater that comes onto our site, treat it, and turn it into potable water.
I'm very excited about the solar panels that will be on the rooftop and the canopy that's going to bridge across over to MCSA. Not only is it extending the footprint of our rooftop so that we can have more solar generation to offset our energy use, but it also is providing shade and shelter to people.
That'll be a huge benefit to them because they can actually produce enough power for them, and it'll be a huge benefit to us because to keep people out of the weather while they're waiting for the food pantry, I think will be a great way to treat those folks with some dignity.
We're really excited about how our building is helping our friends at MCSA. Have you ever thought about helping the friends in your neighborhood? Pause the video and take some time to talk about it. Not only are we giving back to our neighbors, but we're giving back to people all over the world by helping the environment. Ginger, my friend at the construction company that helped us build this building, had to learn a lot about environmentally friendly ways to build.
Anytime that you can choose a material that's sourced locally, you're going to reduce the carbon footprint. Climate change is greatly impacted by waste and materials. And that's one of the challenges with this Living Building Challenge, is to source things as close to Muscatine as you possibly can.
It's sometimes difficult to find products that don't include any of what's called the red list.
The red list has been really profound for architects and designers that are specifying these materials because it tells us which chemicals we should be watching out for and screening out of our specification process to make sure that we're not accidentally introducing really toxic chemicals into these spaces.
Red list says, how do I use products that don't have known bad chemicals in them? So Stanley put the challenge on us and we went after it. So in things like our architectural walls, we were able to get them to be certified of how they meet the standard. It's good for the environment, not just in the literal sense, but if the entire supply chain or ecosystem of players are now challenged to stop using those, it trickles down. Communities that are maybe not even close to us are now being asked the question, what's in the product?
The building itself is not just a place where people go to do a certain activity. the building itself becomes something that has that ability to give back.
We are extremely privileged to have the resources to invest in this type of project. And I think that we're leveraging that privilege in a really powerful way to hopefully create change that extends not just beyond the walls of this building and this city, but also much further.
Welcome to the Stanley Center Living Building. What do you guys think?
It's cool. That's actually cool.
Here at the Stanley Center, we are honored to make a positive difference in people's lives, and we hope it inspires you. Have you thought about it? You may not be renovating a building, but what could you do to make our world better?